What's up, everybody? First of all, Happy New Year's! Welcome to 2023. We have all survived 2020 Part 2. We start this year and end this year with a year full of gaming hype. But first, I want to talk about some of the games that I played during 2022 that actually made my 2022 a little bit more enjoyable. So here I am to present you all with my top 5 games that I played in 2022. Now, warning, I don't know why I played so many JRPGs in 2022. I wouldn't be surprised if it's because all those waifus had me in a chokehold. Number 1 on the list of the top 5 games that I played in 2022, Tales of Arise. Now, I've never played a Tales of game. My first time even hearing of the Tales of series was because of Tales of Arise. I saw a bunch of friends playing this game. I even had a friend who's not even into anime recommend that I play this game. I was like, okay, this is starting to appeal to the normies. There must be something special about this game. There were a lot of things that I enjoyed about the Tales of Arise game. For one, I wasn't expecting for it to actually have such a deep and powerful message in the game, which was Alvin Luther King Jr. preaching about like how the Renans and the Danans shouldn't be, feuding when it's these lords that are causing all the commotion and problems and chaos that is going on and enslaving the Danans. I thought it was pretty neat that it took for both Renans and Danans to come together to actually bring it into it. So I thought that was pretty neat. The combat system was also really good. The combat system leans more on, in particularly, is more near automata-esque. So I thought that was pretty good, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did that because of how more modernized JRPGs are starting to become. They're starting to move out of the whole turn-based era. So I enjoyed the combat system. The characters were also really, really charming. They were very charming. Rinwell is definitely that auntie on Facebook that you would really wish would stop typing. Law is, he's a dork. There's Shion, who's like this tsundere. Then she kind of warms up a little bit, and then there's this like tension between her and Alpha, and you're sitting there like, when y'all gonna kiss? When y'all gonna make the smoochies? But it's not like it's such a vital focus. Like, I don't really care for romance in video games, but I think what they did with Alpha and Shion, it wasn't too much to where it was like corny, and it wasn't too less to where it didn't really feel like it came out of anywhere. It just gradually built. Now, number 2 on this list of the top 5 games that I've played in 2022 is going to go to a game that has long been out for over 20 years, and I have been fortunate and blessed to actually play it in its purest form this past year. And this game is Final Fantasy VII, the original. Now, back when Final Fantasy VII Remake came out, that was my first time actually playing Final Fantasy VII. I've always heard of Final Fantasy VII growing up, but I've never actually got the chance to play it because my first Final Fantasy game was Final Fantasy X. Playing a Final Fantasy Remake and starting from there and playing Final Fantasy Original was like a fucking pilgrimage. I'd say the biggest thing that makes Final Fantasy VII Original better than the remake, and yes, I already know that the remake is supposed to be like this weird like alternate timeline, but one thing I will say that the original has over the remake is that, for one, the original is a fully finished product. I don't have to sit here and wait 8 fucking years, grow another gray hair in my head, waiting on 3 parts to come out. And it's funny because I think more than anything, if you play the original from playing the remake, it just makes the original shine like 20 times more. Not only it already being like fully done, you see the other members that are going to be in your party, and you also see how charming they are. Honestly, like, it really felt so captivating. And then like going across the map and like seeing this giant medal of capitalistic bullshit, like there is a world outside of that is affected by Shinra, and then like going on the adventure of like finding Sephiroth and putting a stop to Sephiroth and just going to all these different areas and seeing how Shinra has just been a fucking pain in their existence, as well as like not only there being such a serious and heavy political undertone. Like when you go to these other villages, there's like silly crap going on in them too. Like there's silly little fun mini games. Like my favorite part was when Cloud is pretending to be a soldier, and then you have to sit there and do the mini game where you're doing the little gun flips and stuff. And then you can like actually teach two of the soldiers Cloud's victory pose where he spins his Buster Sword and then they end up like doing it with their guns. It's just like, it's cute stuff like that. And it just makes this game so much more memorable. On top of like all of these other iconic moments and heavy, deep moments that happen, protecting the environment and like, you know, these capitalistic motherfuckers like sucking the energy out of Earth. But then there's like other themes that you see in like part 2 and so on and so forth, with like Cloud gripping with the fact that his memories are actually not his memories. They are the memory of Zack because of the whole Genova sales and all that bullshit. You end up seeing that like, you know, despite these characters being the heroes, they're not perfect, nor are they the golden standard of being heroes. They are flawed. And yes, I am saying that in particular towards fucking Tifa, who gaslighted the freak out of Cloud. When Cloud found out that his memories were Zack's, Tifa knew that Cloud was like experimented on. I was sitting there like, this is your girl. This is who y'all ride for because she got big tatas. Like, this is who y'all are standing? Nah, I don't want to hear none of that because Aerith brought the whole rapture down at the end. My God, it's Aerith with the steel chair. If it wasn't for Aerith, all these motherfuckers in Midgard would be hash, sling, slash. They ain't trying to hear it. But all in all, I enjoyed Final Fantasy VII Original. I finally see why it has the high accolades to this day. It has themes that will consistently just be relevant within society. And I think that is the main reason why this is such a timeless game. Now, number 3 on this list of the top 5 games that I played in 2022, I decided to put Oli World on this list because thanks to the developers of Oli World, I ended up getting a key from them. So shout out to them. Honestly, I was taken aback from how good this game was. And I'm not just saying that just because I get it for free. I'm not going to hold back on how I fucking feel about a game. So like if you're looking for that old school Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, 2, Underground 1 and 2 feel, I would recommend Oli World, even though this game is more of a 2D side scroller platformer. You can do tricks and flips and dips and quips and all of the imps. And you can also like get a high score and you get graded depending on what you do and whatnot. In other words, it's Tony Hawk Pro Skater with like a rating system from the Overcooked games. So like you can always go back and redo the levels. And if I'm not mistaken, from what I remember, there's a lot of levels. I want to say there's like at least 40. You can never have a dull moment with this game, never a dull time. And now, number 4 on this list of the top 5 games I played in 2022 is a game that would make Yoko Taro cry tears of blood. And that is Yoko Taro's own game, and that's Nier Replicant. I can't tell y'all how happy I was to just have my depression attack me nonstop for 40 hours. I'm pretty sure with the demographic the Nier Replicant remaster, revision or whatever was targeting, which is me and you who have played Nier Automata, I was actually shocked to see Square Enix greenlight this game because they don't usually greenlight a game that flopped and then said let's bring it back. But I'm glad that Nier Automata had that much success that it did make Square Enix go, well, you know what, Yoko Taro, we will bring back the first one that flopped. Nier Replicant is a game that heavily focuses on the power of perspective because as you keep playing this game, replaying the game rather, to go through the multiple playthroughs and see the multiple endings, all these enemies that you fought, you get to see their perspective of Nier, or well, the protagonist's playthrough, and seeing like through their eyes, through their cutscenes, like what they've had to deal with, what they've gone through, what they endured while you're controlling Nier, and you go back and refight these bosses, you see that like Nier's a dickhead. So I greatly appreciated the fact that Nier Replicant wasn't just a game that was just like, here's Hero goes to defeat super evil villain. No, instead it's here's Hero goes and fights himself. And it's funny too because you wouldn't think that a game with a pretty heavy topic like Nier Replicant would be made by the most trollish game developer of all time, but there's more to Yoko Taro than what meets the eye, and Nier Replicant is a pretty glaring and obvious example of just that. And last on the list of the top 5 games I played in 2022, but certainly not least, is Yakuza 7, aka Yakuza Like a Dragon. I am so happy and honored to have this game on my list, mainly because of the fact that it was a game where I was so heavily against there being a new protagonist and being like, this ain't Big Daddy Kiryu. Who the hell is this bastard with a broom for hair? Seeing so many people give it rave reviews, I wouldn't necessarily say humbled me, but it made me go like, all right, get your ass out of this like weird stagnant place where you refuse to see change and not give change a try. Now I will harm anybody that talks about my 42-year-old son, Ichiban. I was not expecting for Ichiban to be such a lovable and huggable protagonist, and I'm so happy that he is, because he's such a weird exit from Kiryu, who is just like this stereotypical 90s, 80s anime influenced protagonist who's silent most of the times. When he talks with some girth behind him. Like what he says, it leaves an impact. Kiryu is just this like moral stickler of justice within the Yakuza society. And then you have Ichiban over here, who is just like, bro, like, did y'all see the Dragon Quest 11 came out? Like, did you get the edition? I got the Hero edition. This game in particular really sealed the deal on kind of stop with like the whole theatrics with the Yakuza and gangsters and whatnot, and it really hit some real life shit with like homelessness in Japan. And there's always been like a bit of like an undercurrent theme of like whatever you were born as or however you were raised, that doesn't particularly determine, you know, the type of person that you will become. And then there's other things like, despite not having a family, like the friends that you make along the way, you can choose for them to be your family. So that's what I greatly enjoyed out of Yakuza. As a matter of fact, I would say that Yakuza 7 is like right up there with Yakuza 0 as being my top 2 favorite Yakuza games. But that is my list of the top 5 games that I played in 2022. Please leave a comment down below giving me your list of games that you enjoy playing in 2022. Hit me with the recommendations. I know y'all know some good games out there. Until the next video, which is going to be the top 5 games that disappointed me in 2022. Remember to stay safe, stay healthy, and don't cut yourself on that paper while you're making that list of games. Peace.